When it comes to the world of video editing, there are a lot of choices out there, but for most people, they're probably going to be using Adobe Premiere, Apple Final Cut Pro, or DaVinci Resolve, and this is my favorite video editor. And the thing is, for the vast majority of these major video editors, they are not free. For Adobe, you're going to have to pay a monthly or yearly subscription service. Apple Final Cut Pro, there is a one-time fee. And DaVinci Resolve, thankfully, does have a free version, which gives you 95% of all the features of the paid version. So I feel that this one is the best for professional video editing, in my opinion. But these aren't the only video editors available because, at least for me, I really got my start with free and open source video editors. Now, of course, there was a Microsoft Windows Maker, which really doesn't exist anymore. But other than that, I started off with Openshot, and then later I used things like Shotcut and then Kdenlive. And if you're not familiar with these are video editors that are truly free, and they are available on all major platforms, whether that's on Microsoft Windows, Apple Mac, and here in Linux Mint. And I kind of would say if you are on a budget, then this is probably going to be the best option for most people. But I do want to ask the question, is this worth it? So what do I mean by that? Because these are obviously free. Well, whenever you're thinking about a video editor, it's not just the price that you're going to pay in terms of money, but it's really the price that you're going to pay in terms of time. Because with any of these video editors, you're going to have to learn how to use them. You're going to have to learn the pros, cons, how it works with your workflow. And at the same time, if you are going to be doing this for a more professional and business level, that's something that you really, really need to consider. And it's going to be a lot of time invested in that area. So that's what I'm talking about here. And so these are some of my general thoughts on that. If you are somebody who's going to be doing this professionally, or you're thinking about getting into this whole world of professional video editing where you're going to get paid for the work that you do and you want to be in the industry, then I would highly recommend with starting off with these major platforms and then sticking to it, because it is going to take you time. But other than that, you are going to be tied into their ecosystem for the most part. That's why it's so important, especially if you're using something like Adobe Premiere and this whole suite of software, because once you stop paying for this, then you can't use it. And then all the projects that you would have created for this, you kind of be stuck in that ecosystem. Whereas with things like Apple Final Cut Pro, even though you are tied into the Apple ecosystem, at least you could still use an older version of the software. And the same thing for DaVinci Resolve. But I would say DaVinci Resolve, out of all these major platforms, it's going to give you the most flexibility, because as long as they offer for free, you could always get the latest version if you did need the paid studio version. Now, when it comes to free and open source video editors, I would say if you're not going to be doing this professionally, or you don't think you're going to head that route anytime soon, then I think these are wonderful options. Because if you get into these video editors, a lot of the main concepts of video editing, they're going to be the same throughout. And at the same time, I would say these are definitely a lot easier to learn. And at least for me, besides the DaVinci Resolve, Kdenlive is my number 2 favorite video editor. I use this a lot, and it offers a whole bunch of great tools. And for these simple type of projects, this is normally my go-to video editor. And this is the closest to being very similar to look, feel, and use with more of these professional video editors. So I say if you learn something like Kdenlive, then it's a lot easier for you to transition to these other software. And you also got to think like the people who are using this in the professional world. If you come in there and say, hey, I know how to use Kdenlive, Shotcut, or Openshot, they're probably going to look at you weird and you're probably not going to get the job, versus somebody who actually knows how to use Adobe Premiere, Apple Final Cut, or DaVinci Resolve. So that's something that you definitely need to consider. But obviously, since these are free, there's nothing stopping you from using it. But I just want you to think about what is worth it, your time. And so think about that, and then consider learning the video editor that's going to be best for you at that time. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my video editors tutorials for Kdenlive, Shotcut, or for DaVinci Resolve, I do have videos on that, and I'll leave those playlists in the description area below. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.